Entrepreneur Show is sponsored by Statewide Insurers Group. As an independent agency, we can shop your insurance needs for the best coverage and the best value. Also sponsored by the Small Business Centers of Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson Community Colleges, as well as the Eastern North Carolina Center for Business and Entrepreneurship.
Good evening and welcome to the New Entrepreneur Show, the show that highlights and celebrates entrepreneurship in Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson counties, and hopefully provides a blueprint and some examples for would-be entrepreneurs who are looking to enter the world of business for the first time or to expand an existing business. Today we have with us David Daniels. David is an entrepreneur in the computer repair and computer building and video game buying and selling and computer buying and selling space. Does that cover it, or is there more than that?
Pretty much. There's a little more to it. I specialize in building high-end gaming PCs, but really I do a lot in the repair space. Laptops, desktops, I can do tablets, phones, all that kind of stuff. Anything dealing with technology I can work on. Be fairly honest whether it's worth it or not, but it's fun for me. I really enjoy it.
So you do phones? Is it just the cell phones? You do the home phones as well? Can I bring my cordless into you? Or?
Just cell phones. Mostly phone screens is a big one. Everybody drops their phone, so yeah. It happens one way or the other sometime.
Yeah. Detail question has nothing to do with the whole show really, but can you replace screens on Apple phones, or do people have to go to the Apple store for that?
It kind of depends. I have the know-how, I can do it. Not, unfortunately, one of the Apple certified places. So I have to throw it out there. I'm 100% honest with my clientele on that. But if it's something that you don't mind me taking a look at and looking with knowing that, absolutely I can work on.
Okay. And Android stuff you can work on, laptops, desktops, tablets, whole nine yards.
Absolutely.
All right, so the focus of this show is about entrepreneurship. I happen to know how long you've been in business because I was there, but walk us through that some. You're a grown up with kids and the whole nine yards. When did you first get the bug that you thought, it might be fun to work for me?
Oh man, I kind of always wanted to work for myself. I worked even when I was a kid. I did a lot of work. I was out mowing lawns when I was 12, 13. I'd pick up the lawnmower, throw it in the back of my mom's car. We'd go riding around. I'd cut some grass and make some money. I grew up. My parents didn't have a whole lot. That's how I, bankrolled a lot of what I wanted to do as a kid, and it stuck with me. That's I always knew I wanted to work for myself. And you just have to have the perseverance to do it.
Yeah, and that's true. Jumping into the scary part. Now, is Infinity your first actual storefront business, or have you owned businesses before this?
Infinity PC is my first storefront business. I have done this for a long time, actually. It's always been a second, kind of like a second job thing for me. But in terms of being in a physical retail location with my own business, this is my first shot.
Okay, so there's a route to entrepreneurship that a lot of people talk about now, which is taking a side hustle and growing the side hustle into being your main source of income. It sounds like that's sort of what you did.
Yeah, pretty much. There was some other outstanding factors that kind of pushed me towards this direction, which I'm thankful for, because I'm sure there's a lot of people like me that wanted to do it, but was always afraid to take that leap. And sometimes life just puts you in that position where you kind of have to make the move. If you don't, you get left behind.
Well, what was it about, now a year and a half ago, give or take, you jumped in. David has a shop inside the Small Shops Marketplace, which is a business incubator that I run here in Rocky Mount on Sunset Avenue. What was it that motivated you to make that leap right then? Because you were one of the first people to sign up and open. You were there when we opened.
Right. Honestly, without going into a whole lot of details, I found myself in a position that I was a single father, and I ended up moving back home. I had spent some time out of state and made the decision to move back home because all my family's here, and got here and I couldn't get a job. Despite all my experience that I had, I couldn't get a job. Nobody really wanted to risk hiring me as a single parent because they were afraid that I'd not be able to be there at work, that I would prioritize my kids over my work, which was exactly the honest truth.
Yeah, a lot of businesses have a hard time with that thing. So let me get this straight. You're in the area, you don't have a lot of resources, you've got 2 kids to raise, and you need money, and you decided to jump off on your own and just risk it all. And you came in before the shop opened, so at this point, people sort of know what Small Shops Marketplace is. We've got a clientele, we've got an active Facebook page, we've got people who walk in all the time. But you came in, physically built a shop inside a Small Shops Marketplace, spent a good portion of the money you had left to take that risk. What was going through your head? Was that terrifying to you? Where were you at on that one?
Oh man, I never had any doubt in my skill, but it was definitely a little scary, putting everything on the line. I had some support, some really good friends, my dad. It was definitely scary, but I knew it was direction. It's something that I've always wanted to do. And I just needed that one last little push, and unfortunate circumstances, but it's worked out. I'm very happy with what I'm doing.
Sometimes when you don't have any choice but to succeed, that's when success comes. And there's a million stories like that, a million motivational business book stories, but it's real. So you come in, and that's, for those of you who don't know Small Shops Marketplace well, we haven't talked about it a lot on the show. It's sort of my passion right now. I really enjoy small shops and working with entrepreneurs. But the deal with small shops is there's no long-term lease. So you came in without having to sign away 5 years. All the employees at the retail side work for me, so there's no extra cost there. The heating and air, the credit cards, the signage, the advertising, all that we take care of. So you're on a month-to-month deal, which makes it easier to take that risk because you're not risking 5 years of rent payments.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even at that, you spent several $100s and a couple of weeks of your time with a hammer and nails and lumber building up a store to start with. You built counters, you put some money and time into that.
Right.
Was it instantly successful? Did you start making money instantly? Were the first couple of months hard for you? What's the growth curve like for you and for Infinity PC Entertainment?
It was honestly, it was kind of slow getting started, and I think a lot of that came from just being new. People didn't know I was there, and it just takes time to snowball that.
Right.
And you got to be able to be patient, and just stick with it. Perseverance and sometimes just outright stubbornness.
Yeah.
Would be the only way to really keep going. I put in a lot of hours there. Small Shops is designed so that as an entrepreneur, you don't necessarily have to be there, but because I do run a service-based business out of Small Shops, I kind of have to be there.
That's right.
Which is, it's helped me grow. I feel like I've grown a lot, and business has definitely grown a lot. I went from the first, probably 3 or 4 months, I was making enough to cover my rent space, but not really much else. I relied on my dad a lot to help, float me and the kids during that time. And then shortly thereafter, I'd say January, February after we opened, it just started snowballing. It hasn't stopped since, and I couldn't be happier.
And that's beautiful. Do you think the difference is word of mouth? Do you think the difference is traffic level in the store? What do you think got you on that growth curve that started making you profitable, a little over a year ago?
It's been a couple of different things. Traffic in the stores picked up dramatically. A lot of people know we're there now, and we're still getting people every day. Hey, right. I didn't know what this was, but it's great. Just tell your friends. It's help us spread the word. Word of mouth. Word of mouth is the best advertisement you could ever have.
That's right.
So the foot traffic for the whole store, and then quality of service is a big thing. You treat your customers right and your clientele right. They're going to come back to you. They're going to spread the word, and that's what I live by. There's been a lot of training, a lot of resources, a lot of help and support from you specifically, and the other resources that we've been or have had access to, and that's helped quite a bit. The email marketing, marketing in general. I do a lot of social media marketing. Google has been a great tool. Get people every day coming in for
be on Google.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I learned that from one of our earlier guests. A couple of weeks ago, we had Melanie Deal on. Y'all might remember her. Everything ties together because Melanie Deal, I went to one of her classes. I don't know if you made that one or not. Where she was talking about
I went
Google.
to a couple of hers, yeah.
And that was sponsored by Teresa Peden over at Nash Community College Small Business Center. And then for email marketing, we had Melanie Deal here at Wesleyan, and that was sponsored by Gina with the Wesleyan Small Business Development Eastern Carolina Partnership for Business, and both great organizations. So all those sort of tied into what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've been growing. Is it still a one-man show? Do you have employees? Where are you at now in that trajectory?
Still primarily one-man show. I do have an intern that I bring in every so often that gives me a hand when she's available, and when I have the workload to be able to support that. She does a great job for me. I definitely couldn't be happier with that. And I think internships is something where I would really like to go into, just to be able to help support individuals that are interested in learning the trade and that kind of thing.
That's an interesting idea, and the small business development centers might help with that,
right,
actually, because they're good at that. Now, what's the next step? You're in Small Shops Marketplace, and Small Shops Marketplace is designed to either be a permanent home for a business, which it can be, or to be a springboard for somebody to grow their business into something bigger and grander. So I know several months ago you were looking into the idea of growing into your own space. There's more expenses, more risks there,
right,
but there's some benefits too. Is that something that you think is on the horizon short term, long term? Is that gone to the back burner now? Where are you at with that particular dream?
That's always the goal. I really feel like definitely small shops is a great starting point, but it's always the goal to kind of graduate to that next step. I think planning wise is going to be key for that. Growth, even with everything that's been going on here recently, I'm still showing some growth, and as long as I can continue snowballing that, I would like to see, hopefully, maybe in the next year and a half, getting into my own spot, my own location, and that's what I want to do there. It's always evolving into what are the different ways that I can grow and make money and make that successful without having to rely just on one avenue.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. With Small Shops Marketplace, when you get to the point where you're ready to grow, I can help you negotiate leases. I'm very experienced in negotiating leases. I can help you with site selection, and you probably need to do some projections and figure out your income is this. If you move into your own space, you've got this expense and this expense you don't have now. There's a lot of upfront expense with signage and fit up and permits, and there's some extra paperwork because you have to file your own sales tax and all that. It's not a big deal.
Which I do, because I do operate some out of my home as well, because I do, I haven't been doing it lately, but I do house calls and stuff as well. So.
Yeah. So you're getting ready on that. When you're ready to do that, you already know this, but for everybody out there, that's something that I'm committed to supporting you in. Anybody who's in Small Shops Marketplace, if they are ready to graduate and grow into a bigger space or look into that. Part of my goal is to help entrepreneurs become successful. And if somebody can grow too big to be part of Small Shops Marketplace, that's fantastic for me. That just shows what we're doing is working. So I'm all for it. When you're ready to do it, we can sit down and take a pencil and paper, or probably a calculator, and a computer, because you like computers a lot.
Right.
We'll go modern instead of old school, and we'll work it out and figure it out. You know, how much money you need to bring in. Anthony over at the Game Nook, he's been running numbers with me as well, and we've got some goals set for him. So we're going that route. Do you anticipate between now and the time you move to your own space, in a shopping center with your own entrance and your own responsibility for all the bills, between now and then, do you anticipate having to have another part-time employee, somebody who's there more often, or do you think you can handle it as a one-man plus show?
Oh man, I'd love to be able to support somebody, right now. A single dad though, I'm just fitting all the bills at home and everything too. So, but yeah, when I definitely would expect that even before I'm at that stage where I'm ready to move into my own location, that I will probably have at least one full-time, or two part-time.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And the other option for growth is, I know you're out of Wilson, and Wilson and Rocky Mount are both in our areas, Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson counties. But there's also an option for keeping that location at Small Shops, hiring an employee to work that if the business warrants it, and open a second one at Wilson that you run yourself.
Right.
We'll explore that and some other ideas, and learn a little more about the computer repair business and all the other things that David offers over Infinity at Infinity. They're inside the Small Shops Marketplace after a couple of messages from our sponsors.
The new Entrepreneur Show is sponsored by Statewide Insurers Group. As an independent agency, we can shop your insurance needs for the best coverage and the best value. Also sponsored by the Small Business Centers of Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson Community Colleges, as well as the Eastern North Carolina Center for Business and Entrepreneurship.
Small Shops Marketplace is in the business of helping you go into business for yourself. Anyone with a dream and a product to sell can open a retail store here at Small Shops Marketplace. We're open 7 days a week with staff to assist your customers. Join dozens of your neighbors and try your hand at business ownership here at Small Shops Marketplace, located in the Inglewood Square Shopping Center at 2916 Sunset Avenue in the former Steinmart location. Hey, welcome back to the New Entrepreneur Show. We're still talking to David Daniels here, the founder, president, CEO, COO, and only full-time employee of Infinity PC Gaming and Entertainment. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Infinity PC Gaming and Entertainment.
But
13 syllables.
You'll remember it.
I remember the Infinity PC part really well. After that, it gets a little fuzzy. We've been talking about your journey in business for the last 20 minutes, that you always wanted to, a little bit about how you got into business and your plans for the future. What we haven't talked about much is what you actually do.
Sure.
So, in a nutshell, we've got about 8-9 minutes left. In a nutshell, what is it that, I know you do phones and build high-end computers. What else do you do? What else can Infinity do for me?
Honestly, it's in the name.
PC Gaming and Entertainment.
PC Gaming and Entertainment, exactly. I do all anything PC. We covered it, repairs, all of that. The gaming, my focus on custom builds is high-end gaming. I also can build rigs for photo editing, video editing, all that kind of stuff. And entertainment, a lot of people don't know this about Infinity PC Gaming and Entertainment, but I also do TV and home theater installation.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
So you go right to somebody's home, and can you do the surround sound and the home theater and the whole 9 yards?
I can do pretty much all of that, absolutely. I like to go in, get a visual inspection, do an estimate and everything, find out what the client's going to need for that, get them the estimate, and then go with it and see what happens. But yeah, I can do all the wall mount installation and everything.
Nice. That entertainment could be anything. You could be juggling for people. I don't know.
Yeah. Part of the entertainment too. We host the game tournaments. They're at small shops actually. We do monthly Super Smash Brother tournaments.
Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it's great fun. It builds a wonderful community, and it's definitely something that's been a great turnout. And I'm looking to help sponsor some more of that. We were here actually with Wesleyan College Game Club not too long ago when they had their MegaCon that they were doing.
MegaCon. What was in the MegaCon?
And they had a whole bunch of people out here, man. They were just playing video games. They had different games. I know they had Madden, Call of Duty. It was mostly console and whatnot, but it was great actually, getting out with the community with that.
And that brings up a question. You do PCs. Do you do game consoles? If I have a broken PS4, can you fix it?
For most of it, yeah. There's a couple of things that unfortunately is very common with some game consoles that are a little bit harder to deal with. I don't have all the equipment necessarily for like the micro soldering stuff, but if it needs a new drive, replacement optical drives, just not running right, something to that effect, by all means bring it to me. I can take a look at it. I don't charge for diagnostics or anything, so the only thing, absolutely.
So if I bring you my old Xbox One and you say I can't fix it, you charge me $0?
I charge you $0.
That seems like a bad idea.
Well, it's my way of guaranteeing my word. 9 times out of 10, I can fix it. If I tell you I can't fix it, and most of the time it's because it's not very cost effective to fix at that point.
All right, so that's important. And I would advise you against it, to be honest, if you're asking me for advice ahead of time for it. But that's important. If you have a system or a computer or a phone that you don't know if it's worth getting fixed or not, most places are going to charge you a bench fee, just to take that piece of equipment and to get it up on their bench and to open up to see if it's worth fixing. David, first I've heard of it, at least currently, is not charging a bench fee. So he's willing to donate, again, I wouldn't do it, his time, and open up your machine and see if it needs to be fixed or if he can even fix it. And if he can't, he's going to charge you $0. That's unusual in the repair business. I might even say unheard of. Like I said, if I was I can't fix anything. Don't ask me to repair anything. I won't repair anything. I'll tell you I can't do it. But if I were repairing things, I'm getting a bench fee. So that's amazing. That means if you've got something you're not sure about, you could take it to David, and he's willing to charge you nothing if he can't fix it. And that's that's exceptional. So, and that applies to anything. If it's a game system, if it's a phone, if it's a PC.
For the most part, I can tell you with a PC though, you bring me a PC, I'm going to fix it.
All right. And in the high-end gaming, you talk about that a lot. Mm-hmm. And of course, for me, high-end gaming, because 1980s were my big video game time. We put quarters into it that way. That was the high end, 25 cents. Space Invaders. But the economy's tightened up a lot with the virus.
Sure.
Are the high-end gaming systems still selling really well, or is that sort of slowed down a lot? Have we hit a wall with it?
Actually, with all the stay-at-home orders in place, people are getting bored. They want a game, and if you want a game in 4K, high frame rates, you really want a PC to do that with. Xbox One X, PS4, they can do 4K gaming, but if you want 4K gaming above 60 FPS, you're gonna want a high-end gaming PC for that.
There you go. So a lot of that's Greek to me. I figured an FPS must be frames per second.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for some high-end gaming, if you are a PC gamer, which I clearly am not, and if you have some stimulus money or some other cash to spend on it, I think your prices are probably going to beat most everybody from what I've been told. I've heard people talk about it. How long does it take? If I come to you with $1,000 or $1 million and say, build me a high-end gaming computer, is it an hour, a day, a week, a month?
Most cases, because I do order the parts as the orders for the computers come in. Inventory, unfortunately, can kill an electronics business. So I do order the parts as the orders for the computers come in. 3 or 4 days typically for shipping time to get the parts in. And as soon as I get the parts, I like to have a day to build, a day to test, and then deliver. So usually a week and a half maybe.
So a custom-built computer to my specs in a week to 10 days generally.
Give or take.
That's not bad. That's not bad. And for me, all I need is an out-of-the-box, I'll go to Walmart or more likely to trade it because I give myself a better deal there and just pick up a laptop. It doesn't matter to me. All I'm doing is checking email and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But for that, and it's not worth building one of those custom, I don't guess, to check email.
Not typically. I do get the occasional folks that's what they want, just because maintenance and upgradability in a custom-built machine, even for those kind of tasks, is a lot easier to do in the long run, as well as upgrading. If you get something that fits your needs today, but a year down the road, you've got this perfectly good computer. Your needs might have outgrown what your computer can do. So the advantage of having a custom built is you can take that custom built that you have, and if it's built and configured right off the bat, which mine would be, you can take and upgrade that to fit your needs, and you don't have to go buy a whole brand new machine.
Well, there you go. All right, so we're getting real low on time now. Anything else you want to say to Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson counties before we sign off the air?
Yeah, if you have any PC gaming and entertainment needs, come see me. I'm inside the Small Shops Marketplace, 2916 Sunset Avenue. I'm there most 7 days a week, just about.
There you go. Thank you once again for tuning in to the New Entrepreneur Show. We will see you next Thursday at 7:30.
As an independent agency, we can shop your insurance needs for the best coverage and the best value. Also sponsored by the Small Business Centers of Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson Community Colleges, as well as the Eastern North Carolina Center for Business and Entrepreneurship.
The Strawberry Patch is